I killed my grandmother with my bare hands. Not the frail old lady everyone mourned at the funeral, but the monster wearing her skin like a stolen coat. And as her eyes, my eyes, really, bulged in that final, gurgling betrayal, I whispered the truth she'd buried for decades. This body was always mine to take back. But here's the controversial part that keeps me up at night. What if I was the thief all along? It started with a house. Not just any house. A crumbling Victorian relic on the outskirts of Portland, Oregon, the kind of place that screams bad investment to anyone with half a brain and a full bank account. Grandma, Eleanor Voss, the iron-fisted matriarch of our fractured family dynasty, had deeded it to me out of nowhere. For your future, Melanie, she'd croaked over the phone, her voice like gravel under tires. I was 28, scraping by as a barista in a hipster coffee joint, drowning in student loans from a useless art degree. The Voss fortune? That was for the golden children. My cousin Derek, the Wall Street shark, and Aunt Lydia, the real estate queen pin who'd clawed her way to boardrooms while the rest of us licked boots. I didn't question the gift at first. Hell, I celebrated. Packed up my shitty studio apartment in one afternoon, visions of flipping the place for profit dancing in my head like some HGTV wet dream. But on move-in day, as I hauled the last box through the creaky front door, my phone buzzed. Grandma again. How's the house treating you, dear? Remember, it's got history. Her laugh was off, like she'd swallowed a secret, and it was clawing its way back up. I brushed it off. Eleanor's riddles were legend. The woman who'd built Voss Properties from a single duplex into a billion-dollar empire loved her cryptic bullshit. Little did I know, those words were the key to a lock I'd never seen coming. That night, as thunder rattled the warped window panes, I found the basement. Not the musty laundry pit you'd expect, but a goddamn laboratory straight out of a conspiracy theorist's fever dream. Dusty workbenches lined with jury-rigged electronics, flickering monitors hooked to what looked like an MRI machine on steroids, and shelves groaning under vials of glowing blue serum labeled in faded Sharpie. Project Echo, do not touch. My heart jackhammered. This wasn't a house. It was a tomb for whatever mad science Grandma had dabbled in during her retirement. I should have run, called the cops, sold the deed, and bolted to Mexico. But curiosity's a bitch, and mine had teeth. I flipped a switch, and the room hummed to life. The machine whirred, screens blooming with grainy footage. Grainy black and white clips of a young woman. Me? No, wait. Her features sharpened into focus. It was Grandma, or someone who looked eerily like her in the 70s, strapped to a chair while white-coated goons injected her with that same blue shit. She screamed, body convulsing, and then nothing. The feed cut to static. I backed away, tripping over a loose cable, my mind reeling. What the hell had she been hiding down here? And why gift it to me, the family black sheep who'd spent her life dodging their shadow? By morning, the hangover from a sleepless night hit harder than the espresso shots I'd chugged. I texted Derek. WTF is up with Grandma's house? Basement's a sci-fi nightmare. He replied in seconds. Sell it, Mel. Eleanor's losing it. Lydia says it's haunted by bad vibes. Typical. Derek, with his Rolex gleam and trust fund smirk, always played gatekeeper to the family lore. But something in his tone, too casual, too quick, itched at me. Betrayals like that, it starts as a whisper. I dove deeper that week, combing through the house like a junkie chasing a fix. Hidden panels revealed ledgers. Voss Properties wasn't just real estate. It was a front for black market biotech. Grandma hadn't built an empire, she'd stolen one. Project Echo? Body transference tech, ripped off from some DARPA dropout in the 80s. The goal? Swap consciousnesses between hosts, cheat death, consolidate power. The serum bridged the gap. The machine mapped the neural print. But it wasn't perfect. Side effects included psychosis, organ rejection, and, in one test subject's case, a soul-shredding feedback loop that left them catatonic. And me? I wasn't just any granddaughter. The footage I'd glimpsed, that young woman on the table was my mother, dead at 25 from a car accident when I was a toddler. But the logs told an uglier truth. Mom had discovered Eleanor's experiments, threatened to blow the whistle. So Grandma dosed her, swapped her essence into a lab rat, a comatose drifter, and buried the body in a shallow grave out back. My inheritance. Not the house. Me. I was the vessel, engineered from birth with latent compatibility markers. They'd been grooming me, gaslighting me into mediocrity so I'd never dig too deep. The crime I'd borne? Mom's murder, pinned on a phantom hit-and-run. I'd grown up with whispers of my cursed blood, therapy bills stacking like indictments, all while Eleanor sipped martinis and Derek tallied commissions. Rage boiled slow, then volcanic. I confronted her at the family estate in the Willamette Valley, that sprawling McMansion with its marble floors echoing like Judgment Day. What the fuck did you do to my mother? I slammed the basement drive on her antique desk, the USB cord snaking like a noose. Eleanor didn't flinch. She steepled her arthritic fingers, eyes gleaming with that predatory Voss glint. Melanie, darling, sit. It's time you understood legacy. She confessed it all, unspooling the yarn with the calm of a serial killer reciting recipes. Lydia, her cutthroat sister, had funded the tech with dirty money, laundering through property flips. Derek, the heir apparent, who'd volunteered for a test swap at 18, hopping into a rival developer's body to sabotage a deal. It worked. Voss swallowed the competition whole. But Mom? Collateral. She was weak, Melanie. Idealistic. Like you. Eleanor's smile curdled. The house is yours because you're ready. The machine works both ways now. Take my body, strong, influential. Leave this fragile shell for the worms. Rule with us. I laughed, a brittle, breaking sound. Join them? After they'd scripted my failures, the accidental sabotage of my college apps, the anonymous tips that tanked my jobs? No. Fuck that. I played along, nodding through her pitch, even toasting with her single malt scotch. But inside, plans crystallized, sharp as shattered glass. Revenge wasn't a word, it was a blueprint. First, the setup. I needed leverage. Slipping back to the house under cover of night, I tinkered with the machine, YouTube tutorials, and a pilfered electronics kit from Radio Shack's Ghost. The serum batches were low, but enough for one swap. Target, Eleanor herself. Controversial? Hell yes. Body swapping your own grandma. That's the kind of taboo that lands you in therapy or tabloids. But morality's a luxury when your life's been a lie. The night I dosed her tea during a reconciliation dinner, guilt gnawed like acid. She trusted me, her blood, her echo. As she slumped in the wingback chair, I dragged her to the basement, the house's history closing around us like a fist. Strapped her in, injected the bridge, fired up the hum. Screens flickered, neural maps overlapping, mine bleeding into hers. Pain lanced through me, fire in my veins, memories not mine flooding in, boardroom coups, lovers discarded, mom's screams echoing from decades back. Then snap. Blackness. I woke to silk sheets and the scent of Chanel No. 5. The master suite at the estate. My hands, wrinkled, liver-spotted, flexed experimentally. Eleanor's hands. I stumbled to the mirror, confronting the silver hair, the sagging jawline. 78 years old, but the power thrummed. Her Rolodex of senators, her offshore accounts, her unassailable name. Upstairs. No. Down in the basement now, my old body twitched, Melanie's lithe frame puppeteered by Grandma's fading spark. The swap held, but barely. Feedback loops whispered in my skull, fragments of her psyche clawing for control. I had days, maybe a week, before rejection set in. Time enough to burn it all down. Step 1. Isolate the snakes. I called a family summit, Eleanor's voice booming through the conference line like thunder. Derek, Lydia, Portland now. The future of Voss hangs. They arrived at dawn, Derek in his Tesla, Lydia helicoptered in like the diva she was. Over coffee in the solarium. Black for me. Her ritual. I laid the trap. Project Echoes compromised. Feds are circling. We liquidate or we lose everything. Panic rippled. Lydia's Botox mask cracked. How? Who? Derek paced, phone glued to his ear, barking at lawyers. I watched them squirm, savoring the inversion. These were the puppeteers who'd yanked my strings. Lydia forging my inheritance docs to keep me poor. Derek spiking my drinks at reunions to sow doubt. They'd borne no consequence for Mom's death. I'd carried the orphan stigma like a brand. As dusk fell, I led them to the evidence locker, the estate's sub-basement, a vault of servers and shredders. Burn it all, I commanded, handing out matches. They obeyed, flames licking hard drives, sparks dancing like fireflies in hell. But I'd rigged the space, sprinklers laced with a sedative variant of the serum, vents pumping knockout gas. One flick of a hidden switch, and they dropped, Lydia mid-curse, Derek clutching his throat. Waking them in the machine room was poetic. Strapped side by side, my old body, Grandma inside, slumped in the corner, mumbling incoherencies. What the fuck, Eleanor? Derek spat, veins bulging. Lydia's eyes darted, calculating escape. I leaned in, her face inches from mine, his now. It's Melanie, asshole. Payback's a bitch in heels. The confessions poured out under duress. Serum-enhanced truth serums, a Voss special. Lydia admitted masterminding Mom's swap, jealous of her pure lineage threatening the throne. Derek? He'd covered it, swapping into witnesses to silence them, building his empire on graves. Even Grandma, from my body's lips, I did it for us, Melanie. For the family. Lies, all of it. But the real knife? They thought they were saving me, sparing me the weakness of my mother's ideals by keeping me small. I debated the swaps then. Pop Lydia into a junkie's husk, Derek into a nursing home reject. Controversial mercy or cruelty? In the end, I chose spectacle. Wired the machine for a chain. Lydia into Derek's body, him into hers, a carousel of flesh. As the hum built, their screams harmonized. Raw. American horror, the kind that fuels true crime podcasts. Bodies arched, essences ripping free. When it settled, Lydia and Derek clawed at his Brooks Brothers shirt. Voice a baritone wail. You bitch. Derek and Lydia sobbed, manicured nails raking furrows in her cheeks. I left them there, doors sealed, a timer ticking to overload the core. Fire would claim the evidence, their twisted forms a footnote in the inferno. Walking away in Eleanor's skin felt like shedding chains, power surging, untainted. But the twist came at the estate's edge, as sirens wailed distant. A final call from my old phone, Grandma's essence, flickering in Melanie's shell. Stop, child. It's not what you think. Her words, my voice. I swapped with your mother that night. To save her. The accident was real, Lydia's hit. I took her place, hid in this body you know as mine. The real Eleanor? Buried in the backyard, with the drifter. The world tilted. Truth reversed. I'd avenged a ghost, murdered my savior. Mom lived in Grandma's form. Or had, until I choked the life from her in the basement frenzy. The house's gift? A beacon for reunion, not inheritance. Derek and Lydia? Pawns in her long con to expose them. I drove through the rain-slicked night, Eleanor's Cadillac devouring miles toward the Pacific. And it happy? Reswap, claim the throne reformed? Or tragic, let rejection consume me, a pyre for the Voss sins? The road blurred, debate raging internal. Legacy's a loaded gun, and I'd pulled every trigger. The coastal highway stretched like a vein pulsing under sodium lights, waves crashing below, as if applauding my unraveling. I gripped the wheel, Eleanor's gnarled fingers white-knuckled on leather, and fought the feedback whispers. Her memories intruded sharper now, not just business deals, but stolen intimacies. A young Eleanor, pre-swap, cradling baby me on her knee, promising whispers of, you'll fix what I broke. Mom's face, defiant in the lab lights, begging, take me instead, save Melanie from this poison. It wasn't power she'd hoarded. It was penance, a half-life in a borrowed skin to shield me from the Voss rot. Rejection clawed deeper, chest tightening like a vice. The serum's half-life was fading. Soon, neural drift would erase me, leaving Eleanor's husk a vegetable. Time for decisions, the controversial kind that split families and fill Reddit threads with AITA posts. Do I reverse the chain, drag those swapped freaks back for a family therapy from hell? Or let the blaze rewrite history? Me the villain who torched the dynasty? Portland's glow receded in the rear view, replaced by the Oregon coast's jagged black cliffs. Astoria, maybe, small-town anonymity, the kind where eccentric old ladies blend into the fog. I could hole up, hack Eleanor's accounts, bleed the empire dry for charities Mom would have loved. Environmental NGOs, women's shelters, ironic restitution from blood money. But the phone buzzed again, my old number. Grandma Mom, her voice a rasp, turned back. The machine's logs. They prove it. Lydia knew. She forced my hand. I swerved onto a pullout, tires screeching, heart slamming. Proof? In the inferno I'd set? No. Backups, cloud drives, Eleanor's paranoia incarnate. Logging in from a burner laptop in the trunk, fingers flying over keys with arthritic slowness. Files bloomed. Audio clips, Timestamps from 97. Lydia's voice, silk over steel. Swap the girl, Ellie, or I expose your little side hustle to the IRS. Melanie's the perfect blank slate. Keep her dumb. Keep her ours. Then Eleanor's sob. She's my daughter, LYD. Your niece. A pause, a slaps echo. Blood's thicker, but ambition's eternal. Do it, or we all burn. Tears, hers, mine, blurred the screen. The betrayal deepened, layers peeling like onion skin. Not just murder, but coercion, a family tree rotten at the root. Derek's files next, emails plotting my misdirections, joyrides in my name to tank my record. He'd laughed about it at Thanksgiving, toasting to keeping the riffraff in line. I wanted to vomit, to ram the car into the surf and let the Pacific judge. But rage refocused. The fire at the estate? Contained, per news alerts on my phone. Explosion at Voss Mansion, arson suspected. No bodies yet. The vault's concrete would hold till investigators cracked it. Swapped Lydia and Derek trapped inside, clawing at each other in alien skins. Controversial poetry. Let them rot as evidence, or mercy kill the lynx. I chose the latter, drove back through the witching hour, the Cadillac's engine a low growl mirroring my resolve. Arriving at dawn smear, the mansion smoldered, fire crews dousing embers. Cops swarmed, but Eleanor's name parted them like the Red Sea. Family emergency. I barked in her timbre, flashing credentials. Down to the vault, keycard beeping surrender. The air reeked of ozone and fear sweat. Lydia and Derek huddled, his Armani suit torn, eyes wild in that chiseled face. Eleanor, please, it's me, LYD. Fix this nightmare. Derek and Lydia sneered from the corner, her Chanel suit smeared with soot, voice a falsetto snarl. She's lying. I am Lydia Voss, and you're under arrest for. I silenced them with the serum injector, a double tap to the necks. No swaps this time, just oblivion, a permanent blackout. As they slumped, I whispered to each, you built this hell. Enjoy the front row seat. Then, the overload switch. Sparks flew, consoles melting into slag. Their bodies, my cousins, twisted, would char unrecognizable, ruled a murder-suicide in the blast. Voss Properties? I'd retire it tomorrow, donate holdings to anti-corruption watchdogs. Poetic, debatable justice. Back in the Cadillac, the sun crested, gilding the Willamette like fool's gold. My old body. No, Mom's vessel. Waited in the passenger seat, propped like a discarded puppet. Her eyes fluttered, Eleanor's spark, Mom's soul, flickering. Melanie, it's you. Her hand, my hand, reached, trembling. Touch ignited memories. Beach days and seaside. Her stories of Grandma's wild youth. Lies woven with love to protect. The reversal hit full. I'd nearly erased her, my avenger. How do we fix this? I choked, voice cracking. She smiled, weary. The house. One last run. But it's risky, double swap could kill us both. Risky? Understatement of the century. Controversial as hell, resurrecting the dead via mad science. Gambling souls on a Rube Goldberg death trap. But family, American style. We'd bet the farm, double down, and pray for a Hollywood ending. Or a Greek tragedy, fates entwined in the machine's glow. We barreled south, the estate smoke plume fading. Portland traffic snarled, a metaphor for the knots in my gut. Billboards hawked freedom, escape to the coast. While my mind raced escape routes. If the swap failed, I'd be trapped in this octogenarian prison, Mom's essence scattering like ash. Success? Back in my skin, her in. What? The drifter's grave was dust, Eleanor's original shell-long compost. A new host? Ethical quicksand. The house loomed by noon, its Victorian spires mocking under a piss-yellow sky. Inside, the basement hummed expectant, like it had waited decades for this encore. We prepped in silence, for drips of stabilizer serum, neural calibrators humming. Mom, in my body, strapped first, her youth a cruel irony. I love you, kid. Always did. Injection bit. Her convulsions a mirror of the footage I'd seen. My turn. Eleanor's frailty amplifying every jolt, bones grinding as if protesting the theft. The machine bridged us, screens fracturing into kaleidoscopes of shared pain. Memories collided. Mom's final moments, terror and resolve. Eleanor's early sins, ambition birthing monsters. My life, a puppet show of sabotage. Then, the pull. souls yanking like taffy, feedback screaming. I blacked out to her voice. Hold on, Melanie. We're Voss women. We don't break. Waking was rebirth. Lithe limbs, dark hair spilling over sweat-damp sheets. My sheets, my basement. Success. But Mom? Slumped in the chair, Eleanor's form stirring slow. Eyes opened. Hers, clear as Pacific shallows. It's done. Hug was awkward, bodies mismatched but souls aligned. We burned the machine that night, flames devouring the last of Project Echo. No more echoes, no more thieves. The aftermath tasted like stale victory, the kind you chase with therapy and takeout. Mom and Eleanor moved into the house. Her house now, legally mine but morally hers, turning the basement into a woodshop, carving decoys from the ghosts. I crashed on the couch those first weeks, dodging reporters sniffing the Voss implosion. Tragic accident claims family titans, headlines blared, speculation rife. Foul play? Corporate espionage? Derek and Lydia's charred remains fueled the fire. Autopsies inconclusive thanks to the vault's meltdown. I played the grieving niece, Eleanor's voice issuing statements. A terrible loss. Voss Properties to pivot toward ethical redevelopment. Ethical. The word stuck like burrs. We'd funneled millions into green initiatives, affordable housing for single moms, community land trusts, but whispers followed. Family friends side-eyed me at the memorial, murmurs of Melanie's sudden windfall, and where'd Eleanor get so? Sprott. Controversy brewed, slow as Oregon drizzle. Was I the opportunist, cashing in on tragedy? Or the fixer, righting ancestral wrongs? Social media lit up, Voss curse trended, TikToks dissecting our dynastic doom, with true crime flair. Mom coached me through it, her advice laced with 70s grit. On the narrative, kid. America's built on reinvention. Think Ford, think Oprah. We rebranded. Voss Legacy Fund. Me as figurehead. Board meetings in Seattle high-rises. Me in power suits that itched like lies, pitching solar retrofits to skeptical investors. Success came grudging. Deals closed. Headlines softened to Voss Air turns page. But nights, alone in the master suite, doubt gnawed. The swap's echoes lingered. Phantom aches in joints that weren't mine, dreams of Lydia's baritone pleas. Worse, loose ends. A private eye, hired by Derek's ex, some model with a grudge, started sniffing. Calls to the house. Questions about unusual activity pre-fire. Mom waved it off. Paranoia, Melanie. Bury it deeper. But I couldn't. Controversial calculus. Silence him with cash, or something darker? The serum remnants tempted, a vial hidden in the floorboards. One dose, a slip, off a ferry. Accidents happen on rainy coasts. I met him in a dive bar off Burnside, the kind with peanut shells and PBR on tap. Gus Harlan, grizzled in a members-only jacket, nursing a Boilermaker. Ms. Voss, he drawled, toothpick rolling. Or should I say Melanie? Digging into your cousin's last days. Smells fishy. I slid an envelope. 20 grand, untraceable. Walk away, Gus. For your family's sake. He pocketed it, but eyes gleamed hungry. Not enough for what I know. That basement. Echoes of Frankenstein. And your grandma? She wasn't right in the head those last months. Sweat beaded despite the AC hum. He knew fragments. The machine's patents, buried in old DARPA leaks. Not the swaps, thank Christ, but enough to unravel. I leaned in, Eleanor's poise masking my tremor. What do you want? $1 million, he countered. In silence. Deal struck, but as he lumbered out, regret soured. Betrayal's echo. He'd bleed us, then sell to the highest bidder. Podcasts, prosecutors. That night, decision crystallized, ugly and American. Self-preservation over principle. I tailed him to his flop in Selwood. Rain sheeting like absolution. The vial burned in my pocket. He answered the door in boxers, confusion creasing his jowls. Back so soon. Syringe to neck, quick as a snake bite. He crumpled, eyes rolling. No kill, just a nudge down the stairs, a fall witnessed by no one. Body discovery next morn. PI dead in apparent accident. Cops chalked it to booze. I toasted Mom with chamomile, stomach churning. You did what you had to, she said, Eleanor's hands patting mine. Youthful now in memory. But the line blurred. Were we Avengers or monsters? The fund thrived, though, clinics opening in underserved hoods, my face on billboards preaching redemption through roots. Public loved the arc, prodigal daughter saves empire. Private? Fractures widened. Mom's health flagged. Rejections revenge. Organs rebelling against the foreign tenant. Doctor visits in Vancouver, British Columbia. Discreet clinics for experimental therapies. She downplayed. Just arthritis, kid. Live while you can. Live. I tried. Dated a barista from my old haunt. Irony's kiss. Nights tangled in sheets. Laughing at bad movies. But intimacy faltered. His touch sparked Eleanor's memories. Illicit flings from boardroom conquests. You're distant, he accused, postcoital. Like you're someone else. I ghosted him, retreating to the house, where Mom waited with tea and tall tales. Your grandfather, she'd spin, was a con man who swapped identities to dodge the draft. Boss blood, always one step ahead. One step, but the past lapped closer. An anonymous email pinged, grainy footage, time-stamped pre-fire. The vault, figures struggling, Lydia's body thrashing against Derek's. Sender, truth or consequences? Attached, a scan of Mom's original neural map, labeled subject, Eleanor Voss, deceased 1997. Blackmail Voss style. Heart seized. Who? A lab tech survivor? Derek's ghost in the machine? Confrontation loomed. I traced the IP to a dingy server farm in Tacoma, but Mom intervened. Let me handle my mess. Her plan, meet on neutral ground, a neutral swap of info for immunity. Controversial trust, sending the elder vessel into the lion's den. You're stronger now, I argued. She smiled, right? And you're still my girl. Go live, Melanie. Date that barista. Build something real. She left at dusk, Eleanor's Lincoln rumbling north. I paced the house, ghosts whispering. Hours ticked. Then, a call, not hers. Unknown number. Your grandma's in custody. Attempted bribery. Come collect her. Tacoma PD, sterile as regret. Bail paid. Mom emerging pale, handcuffed chafes on wrists. It was Harlan's partner. She confessed en route home. Knew about the tech. Wanted a piece. She'd dosed him, subdermal patch, slow burn, and staged a heart attack. Body dumped in Puget Sound, waits courtesy of a fishing charter. Horror and pride ward. We're no better, I whispered. She gripped the wheel, knuckles blanching. We are, kid. We're surviving. But survival's debatable currency. How many bodies before you're the villain? The fun's gala loomed, black tie schmooze in Pioneer Square. I attended solo, Mom indisposed. Flashbulbs popped, toasts to resilience. A donor sidled up, silver-haired fox. Heard rumors, Ms. Voss. Family secrets. I smiled, Eleanor's charm dialed high. All families have them. Makes the legacy sweeter. Sweet. Bitter as bile. That night, collapse. Mom clutching chest in the kitchen, gasping. Ambulance wailed, ER lights blurring. Rejection cascade. Docs murmured. No cure. Irony's cruelest cut. We transferred to a private wing, machines beeping dirges. Finish it, she rasped, my hand in hers. Expose them. The real Lydia, her network. Blackmail rings, swapped execs pulling strings in D.C. Files on a drive, handed over like a grenade pin. I nodded, throat tight. Vigil stretched, her breath shallowing. Dawn broke as she slipped, eyes locking mine. Love you, Melanie. Be free. Gone. Eleanor Voss, cause of death, natural. The world mourned again. I buried her beside the drifter. Mom reunited in earth, if not ether. Grief-fueled fury. The drive's intel, Lydia's web, a cabal of swapped elites, senators in AIDS skins, CEOs puppeteering juniors. Controversial crusade. Dismantle it all. Leaks to whistleblower sites, congressional probes. I went public. Voss Air uncovers biotech scandal. Testimonies anonymized but damning. Chaos erupted, stocks tanked, arrests rolled. Me? Hero or hysteric? Debates raged, savior or scandalmonger. In the house is quiet, I pondered the end. Happy. Legacy cleansed, fund thriving. Tragic? Alone with echoes, bodies on my ledger. The mirror showed Melanie, me. Unscarred but scarred. Freedom's price, eternal debate. Months blurred into a haze of hearings and headlines. The kind of American spectacle that turns personal vendettas into primetime fodder. CNN panels dissected the Voss swap scandal. Experts debating ethics. Is consciousness theft murder? Or evolution's next leap? I testified in D.C., voice steady under Klieg lights, dropping Lydia's files like bombs. My family didn't just build empires, they stole lives. Gasps rippled, Senators shifted, some paler than others, wondering whose skin they wore. Back in Portland, the house felt vast, echoing with absences. Mom's wood carvings lined the mantel, abstract knots symbolizing untangled fates. I sold Voss Remnants, the fund autonomous now, run by sharp-eyed reformers who'd never touch a serum vial. Life normalized, or its facsimile. Therapy with a no-nonsense shrink in the Pearl District runs along the Willamette where dog walkers nodded oblivious hellos. The barista? Rekindled, tentative, coffee dates evolving to weekends in his loft, bodies sinking without spectral interference. But tension coiled, dark and tensile. Loose threads unraveled. A Voss holdout, Uncle Ray, Lydia's shadow partner, a venture capitalist with a penchant for offshore labs. He'd gone dark post-leak, but tips surfaced, sightings in Miami, whispers of a new Echo prototype. My PI days over, I crowdsourced Reddit sleuths, ex-Voss whistleblowers. One lead burned hot. A clinic in the Keys, rejuvenation spa for the elite. Controversial incursion, storm the lair solo, or call feds and watch from afar. Solo 1, Voss blood, reckless. I flew commercial, incognito in sunnies and a floppy hat, the kind of getup that screams trying too hard. Miami's heat slapped like judgment, humidity frizzing my resolve. The clinic squatted on a mangrove fringe, all white stucco and whispered opulence. Posing as a grieving heiress seeking closure, I charmed the gate, Eleanor's silver tongue, refined. Inside, marble halls, clients in robes shuffling like zombies. Eyes vacant, bodies mismatched. Ray held court in the solarium, tanned and triumphant, mid-pitch to a Botoxed socialite. Eternal youth, darling. Slip into that perky intern shell, leave the wrinkles for the help. My entrance froze him, martini glass hovering. Melanie, should have known you'd sniff it out. Confrontation brewed tropical, lounge chairs by the infinity pool, waves lapping indifferent. End it, Ray? Shut down the labs, or I go nuclear. Names, dates, your Cayman accounts. He laughed, ice clinking. And become the villain? The girl who burned her family alive. He knew. Fragments from the fire, pieced by greed. Derek called me, pre-swap. Begged for help. Said you were possessed. Lies, but laced truth. The swap's morality gnawed. Had I stolen Mom's second chance? Ray leaned in, conspiratorial. Join us, niece. Your mother's in that machine somewhere. Echoes we can retrieve. One more jump, all fixed. Temptation lanced, sharp. Retrieve her? Or delusion, another con? Rage snapped. I lunged, chair toppling, pool water churning as we grappled. His hands, surgeon sculpted, clawed. Mine, young and fueled, pinned. For Mom, I hissed, dragging him to the edge. Splash, body sinking, bubbles gurgling secrets. Security swarmed, but I was gone, slipping into mangroves like a ghost. Back home, fallout simmered. Feds raided the clinic. Ray's corpse ruled, drowning. Foul play suspected. My name surfaced, person of interest, but alibis held, fund lawyers a wall of denials. Public split. Justice for Voss trended beside Melanie Monster, forums ablaze with she's a serial killer in Birkenstocks, versus feminist icon dismantling the patriarchy, one body at a time. Isolation deepened. The barista bailed. Too much drama, Mel, leaving voicemails I deleted unread. Therapy cracked open the dark. You bore their sins, but now you're drowning in them. True. Nights, I'd wander the basement ruins, ash sifting through fingers, debating surrender. Turn states? Confess the swaps, face life in Supermax? Or vanish, new identity, some Midwest nowhere, brewing craft beer and forgetting. The climax crested unexpected, a package, unmarked, on the porch. Inside, a vial, blue serum, pristine, and a note in Mom's script, one left. For the truth. Heart stuttered. How? Ray's stash? Or her echo? A final gift from beyond? Attached drive. Unredacted logs. The ultimate reversal. Playback chilled. Not just Lydia's coercion, but Mom's complicity. 96 footage. Her in the lab, volunteering. Tested on me first, Eleanor. If it works, we expose them together. The swap wasn't forced. It was bait. Mom infiltrating to gather proof. But it backfired. Lydia's hit came swift. Mom's essence flung into Eleanor's shell mid-transfer, a desperate save. The drifter? A decoy, her body preserved in cryo, waiting retrieval. Truth inverted. Mom hadn't saved me from poison. She'd dosed me prenatal, engineering compatibility to make me the ultimate vessel. For your strength, baby, her voiceover cooed. Betrayal zenith. I'd been the plan, a sleeper agent in my own life. Rage or relief. She'd built me unbreakable, but at what cost? The vial tempted. Final swap, into her preserved form. Youth reclaimed, sins shed. Controversial absolution. Cheat death like they did, or smash it. Embrace mortality's mess. I held it to light, blue glow dancing. Dawn broke, decision crystallizing. I drove to the backyard grave, now a memorial garden, roses over dirt. Dug shallow, unearthed the cryopod. Mom's original body, 25 forever, serene. Machine gone, but serum pure, direct injection, neural sync via meditation bullshit from the logs. Risky as roulette, but American grit. Go big or go home. Kneeling in mud, needle poised, I whispered. Your turn to live, Mom. Puncture, burn, fade. Waking, smooth skin, dark waves, hers, mine. Mirror fogged, but eyes shone familiar. Hybrid now, echoes harmonized. No more houses, no more hides. I walked the streets, free in stolen youth, the world debating my ghost. Ending? You tell me. Happy rebirth or tragic loop? Legacy's the debate we leave.